Hello, YouTube. Got to put my glasses on just to be able to see the time on the clock on the camera. Gonna do a quick walk around the neighborhood. Hello, YouTube. Gonna do a quick walk around the neighborhood. Do some random musings um, about some things you might be interested in. So uh, let's talk about some food items. Let's talk about uh, health, keto. I'm currently on keto. I'm at about 252, 3 pounds. It's about 60 pounds below my high ever. Although in this past November, December, I was probably more in the 280s, 270s. Started doing some dieting and keto and just some light on and off things, cut back on the beer, and got down to the low 280s. I think in January I was about 270, high 270s, and January, about a weekend or two, in the first 10 days, I'd say, I started more of the cutting out the beer. Still had some red wine here and there, so I lost another 20 pounds, but got stuck a little bit here in the last couple of weeks. So I've decided to eat what I want today. Tomorrow I'm going to get back on my fasting. I'm doing intermittent fasting. For those who don't know what that is, let me just talk about that first. What intermittent fasting is if you see me limping a little, I've got a bad knee. I had knee surgery a few years ago, so that and the added weight, I'm going to be taking it down to below 200 here in the next 3 to 4 months. I gotta get this next 30, 40, 50 pounds off. So my kids, my older son is 12. I'm 12, a little over 12, and he's never seen me below 230 pounds. So that's the next goal. Uh, so here we go. What intermittent fasting is where you fast and you don't drink anything but water, maybe a little lemon and juice in the water, but technically just water. And I also have black coffee. Um, and then what you do is you don't, or you condense your meal period. There's an African doctor who did a lot of research into one meal a day. You can see lots of videos on YouTube about one meal a day. People who then are able to lose weight by condensing their calories into one meal a day. And then there's also a lot of research showing people like Jillian, what's her name? The one from The Biggest Loser, pretty much thinks she's an expert, but I saw a recent interview where she was just killing dog and keto, but yet her methods don't work. New York Times did a big article about all the people who lost weight on The Biggest Loser, working their butts off, starving themselves, exercising, killing themselves, and then even the winners, they gain it all back because their bodies uh, react to the carbs. They, you know, the people I'm watching on YouTube are saying, hey, if you want to keep it off, you got to teach your body to burn fat. So I'm bouncing all over. Intermittent fasting is intermittent 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 fasting is where you just condense your meals into a period of 8 hours or less a day. So one meal a day would be that. You eat at say 3 p.m. or you want to eat with socially at dinner, so you do it at 7 p.m. whatever, and you eat that meal and all your calories, and then your body goes the next 23 hours without eating, and you can vary your time so you're not always going 24. That's a 23-hour intermittent fasting. Uh, most people say, if you're condensing within 8 hours, then that's good. And then there's other research that says, hey, studies on mice, uh, it improved their longevity if they only ate within a 9-hour period window. So condense your eating into a 9-hour window, and that's going to help your longevity and health. So what happens is your body's not spending all the energy digesting, and so what it does is spends that energy on the next most important thing, and oftentimes that's uh, repairing your organs, repairing your joints, uh, inflammation, taking care of inflammation. So I would definitely say, also you're a little hungry, but you get used to it. After a couple of weeks, a few days even, you just you just are used to being slightly hungry, but then you just keep going, stay busy. You end up with a lot more time because you're not preparing or going to get food, eating food. Uh, you're not going to the bathrooms often. You're just drinking water, coffee, and or tea. Yeah, I don't mean tea or coffee loaded up with sugar, or even fats, because healthy fats on keto are good. So whipping cream, but not loaded up with sugar, not extra sugar. It's got to be just healthy fat. Grass-fed milk and dairy is number one. And then, so what you want to do is intermittent fasting is start skipping breakfast. And once you get used to it, you'll see those. All that is an insulin spike. On another topic, there's research showing that you know insulin spikes by eating throughout the day, like Jillian Anderson or whatever her name is. Uh, that if you do what she says, and they were pushing eating 6 meals a day and keeping your metabolism going. Well, what it's doing is keeping your insulin spiked, which is unhealthy for your body. So, that's causing stress in your body, because there's studies showing insulin and uh, insulin is one of the factors that helps contribute to cancer and uh, diabetes, of course, and then those people are more prone to cancer and heart disease. So I recently had a calcium score scan done where you get your calcium measured in your arteries, and that combined with insulin levels and some other factors are very good predictor of your percentage chance of a heart opportunity, they call it, or basically a heart attack. These guys who pass the EKG test with flying colors and then kick over dead, a month later. And like Bill Clinton, ex-president, he passed his EKG test where he's on the treadmill and they measure his EKG and he passes that with flying colors. But his calcium score was horrible because he had blockage, which is basically calcium deposits in your arteries. And what happened was he ended up with a quadruple or triple bypass or something after he's doing great on his EKG test. Come on, that just tells you it's no good. But the calcium test is, I've heard, anywhere from $59 to $99, $129. I paid $75, and it takes a week or two to get your score. I actually got mine the same day, that afternoon, but they say it could take a couple of weeks. And then, so what happens is they measure each of your main arteries and give you a score on each one plus a total. And then the total, if it's zero, it's perfect, it's great. 0 to 10, okay. 0 to 100, okay. But the higher, the worse. And then 100 to 400 bad, and then 400 plus really bad. So I'm gonna just walk for a minute. I'm passing some people, so Just gonna walk. Just walk here. So let's go back to intermittent fasting. So you're condensing your meal. So I'm usually eating at between 3 and 5 p.m. my first calories, and then I'll have dinner. I want to work in a 1 meal a day. Right now I'm sort of having 1.5. My first one is usually just something light. I'm working towards maybe making that a smoothie, maybe some fats, a bullet coffee, which is coconut oil or MCT oil or both, and ghee or butter or ghee, which is the highly concentrated, richest part of the butter. Grass fed if possible. So you get that mixed with black coffee, and what you're doing on keto is you're training your body to burn fats instead of carbs, and have it burn the carbs you get as they are taken in, or they're moved to your brain and burned, or your brain needs some carbs. But you can get carbs from vegetables. So I call the ones from bread and pasta, sugars, all that. That's just, I call it dead carbs. I'm not sure if I mean that because they're dead and they don't do anything for you, or if they'll make you dead. But so dead carbs, and those are no. What you do is they call it your macros, which is your percentages for different foods. So somewhere around 20 to 25% protein, and about 65 to 75% fat, and those are healthy fats, right? So cheese, grass-fed dairy, butter, grass-fed. Wind's blowing here, so I'm putting my hand here. Grass-fed butters. I don't know if I could get enough fat in my calories. 70% fat. It's hard to do. And I started using an app to track it. And when I'm using the app, I'm doing better. So I'm going to start that back tomorrow. So, uh, so, so without cheese and dairy, it'd be hard for me to get the fats. I use coconut oil. You get some fats from your meats, but not a ton. And so, say salmon or grass-fed meat, beef, hamburger, chicken, but you got to get the skin on, or you don't get much fat. And then, uh, so like I said, coconut oil, and then you can make fat bombs and treats, little cocoa, sugar substitutes, but only the healthy ones, not the chemical laden ones, not saccharin and equal and all that stuff. And then, I'd say, um, so then you want to get about only 5% carbs. If you can get below 20 to 25 carbs a day, and especially make those from your healthy vegetables. And then on carbs, you count the net carbs. So in Europe, I understand, I haven't seen it or to remember it, but they measure carbs. They separate the fiber from the sugar. But total carbs minus your fiber is your net carbs. And then stay away from anything that's got added sugar. That's for sure. So, um, so yeah, that's the plan then. So, 70-ish% fat, 20-25% protein, and then 5% carbs. So walked around the block a little bit. It's cold here. I'm in Texas. So here comes Jan. She's going to the store. I'm going to turn this off. Later, remind me to tell you about Ivan. He's a pro football candidate. He's walking barefooted, dressed like Chewbacca. And I got somebody else over here behind me trying to get in the video. I can't let him on the video because this is going on YouTube, and I don't want YouTube saying I got kids in it. He's he's really, really trying hard. I'm having to. His name is PewDiePie. What? Okay, section 2. Let's talk about some different food and health related topics related to food. One, we only eat sea salt, pink Himalayan salt, which is sea salt, even though it's coming from the mountains. So you have to figure that out. Celtic sea salt, I've heard, is better for some people because both have a lot of minerals in it. And I've heard that Himalayan pink salt has more iron and some of those heavy metals. So if you're high in iron, you might want to go Celtic. I really haven't tried Celtic. I'm sure I've tried it by accident or just because that's the sea salt someone had, but I haven't bought that on purpose. We've been using pink salt for 2 or 3 or 4 years. It's great for making your own electrolyte drink. Get some organic, non-sugar added juice, and even with a little sugar in it, if need be, mix it up with a lot of pink salt, and that's our hydration mix for kids and for me. I want to coach the baseball or football teams, and so let's talk about pink salt. So you want to, unless you're using it to kill your weeds, get rid of your Morton's or get rid of your white table salt. Most of the time it's Morton's. Pour it out, pour it into a. I'll do a recipe on how to kill weeds with vinegar, soaps, uh, sink washing soap and vinegar, salt, and soap, and mix it up, and then you pump it up in a pump, and then you spray your weeds. You got to spray where you don't want weeds to grow back if it's in the roots because it's gonna leave the salt long term in the acid. But it kills the weeds just like a poison, but without the poison residue for the kids or dogs or pets or the earth. So we like that. So say you got a crack in your sidewalk or in a seam of the sidewalk, you might want to have grass or weeds growing. You can spray it there, that kind of thing. It'd be great for baseball fields. I wish other baseball leagues would use that instead of other toxic poisons. Um, so the next topic, okay, let's don't don't feed your kids and don't eat MSG. Monosodium glutamate. It's toxic. It's poison. Get rid of it. That's 2 items. So we got get rid of the table salt. Go to pink salt's what my research shows. Other people say regular salt's needed, sodium chloride for your bodies and connections for cells, and I'm not one to think that it's really causing high blood pressure and all that. But besides that, uh, I'm a proponent of sea salt, pink salt, and Celtic salt. So then we got the get rid of the MSG, get rid of the food dyes, the reds and the blues. They've been linked to ADD and linked to other issues for kids. Plus, they're toxic, can cause cancer. Is what my belief is. They're not even allowed in Europe. In Europe, the food and cereal manufacturers will use what's legal there, but over here they keep the chemicals in the food because it's cheaper. So there you go. You trust in your food and nutrition for your kids and family to companies who know that it's safer to get rid of some of the chemicals and some of the ingredients in their products, but they don't do it until they're forced to. And they're not forced to very often because our governmental system is pretty toxic as far as lobbyists paying off congressmen passing laws that are not healthy for kids, FDA. It's just a in and outdoor of food company, chemical company executives coming in working for the FDA, created rules, and then they go back to make millions and millions of dollars on the boards and in executive positions for these companies. I mean, it shouldn't be allowed. Same thing with pharmaceuticals. But I'm getting off topic. So MSG, food colorings, that's number 3. Don't I follow Dr. Joel Wallach. We actually use his. He started a company, Longevity, sells vitamins and minerals. we use his products. And he says don't eat vegetable oils, any of the bottled oils. If you're gonna cook in something, cook in butter or ghee or maybe animal lard. He even says don't eat coconut oil, but I do right now eat coconut oil because I've read it doesn't turn to trans fats. Because his whole reasoning is they all turn to trans fats. And so I've even read don't cook, and I agree with him, don't cook in olive oil, but olive oil, if it's safe, hasn't been converted by sitting in the sun, on a restaurant table in a glass jar. If it's safe, then, I've read it's good for you and healthy, and that's what a lot of people believe, but not not to cook in. So, as a raw product, dipping your bread, if you're eating bread at an Italian restaurant, and some pepper and mozzarella cheese or Parmesan cheese. Um, that's good. But so so let's keep going. We got vegetable oils. I think that's number four, and then we're gonna say what's next. Let's see. What else do we need to get rid of? Oh, don't eat processed meats that have nitrates added. I mean, a lot of the natural ones or organic ones will say no nitrates added. You definitely don't want any meats that have antibiotics added to the animals. You don't want any animal products that have hormones added to the animals. Do you want your kid eating the hormones injected into a cow so you get it through the milk? No, I don't. Well, my kids drinking that or eating that. So no hormones, no antibiotics, no nitrates added. Wine, drink organic. We put clay or charcoal in our wine. It's not organic, and it'll absorb some of the toxins and the sulfites and other chemicals. So if it's not organic, it could have chemicals on the grapes. You could have sulfites added. There might be some naturally occurring sulfites in some of the meats that are organic or in the grapes for wine, um, but those are not nearly to the extreme that the ones that are added for processed meats can cause problems. I think I read once that I saw a meme. I don't know where the research came from, but I think kids are more likely, like 20 times more likely to get leukemia if they were eating so many slices of or portions of deli meat a week. Of course, that would be non-organic. So you don't know, is it the nitrates causing that? Is it the antibiotics, hormones, poisons in the food, glyphosate and Roundup in the freaking feed the animals eating? Who knows? But so limit limit your intake to organic and natural products. Really natural, not fake. Not the word natural on the wrapper, but natural meaning no additives. It's organic, uh, no hormones, no antibiotics. So what's next as far as dairy? You want to have grass fed. I mentioned that earlier. Even meats, you want grass fed. The omega threes and nines are a lot healthier, and they're naturally occurring in the grass-fed meats, say beef. But if the animal's even finished for the last 30 days by feeding it grain, you're gonna have the omega sixes and things you don't want. So it's healthier meat, much healthier for your family to eat grass-fed meat. Um, so then what's next? We got eggs. You want pasture raised, where they're eating some insects, uh, not eating other chicken meat. You don't want them from the crowded. It can't be humanely raised if they're standing shoulder to shoulder and fighting for food, and they spend their 6 or 8 weeks of life in a chicken house where, yeah, they can't. They may say they have access to go into the sunlight, but they feed them inside so they don't go out. Most of the time, is what I've heard. So, so you want farm raised eggs. You can even look, buy some of the cheapest eggs and buy some of the more expensive farm raised eggs and organic ones and take a look, crack them and see how much more rich in color and healthier looking the egg yolk is for the farm raised one. You'll see a difference. I have. Um, so that takes care of eggs. Seafood, we don't do farm raised seafood. We don't do farm raised catfish, tilapia. I've heard. I saw that a study that said for farm raised salmon, it was 6 times more PCPs and things like that, chemicals in it, than wild caught. So we only do wild caught fish, wild caught shrimp, wild caught oysters, if we even eat that stuff. Um, and so That takes care of seafood. Let's move on. What else in the house? We possible don't don't buy standard sheets. Get organic sheets and then wash them, and don't use chemical on laundry detergent and fabric softeners that your kid's going to be breathing all those chemicals in and getting them into their through their skin. So those two things right there can save your environment. Get a really nice high quality air cleaner. Some big toxins for the your body come in through the air, whether it's mold and naturally occurring things or if it's chemicals and toxins. Don't burn fragrances and candles in your house. Don't use fragrances on your personal products. If it says fragrance, I think it's got chemicals in it. You want to use natural, organic, if possible. You want, or if it you don't want to contain aluminum, and so you don't want to have baking soda or baking powder. If it does, it needs to be organic so that it'll say no heavy metals because aluminum's in that stuff, and that's can contribute towards breast cancer. I've read, or other problems for your body. So you want to go natural on deodorants. Same thing for your other personal care. We don't believe in fluoride. I read a Harvard study that said kids lose um, 14 IQ points from ingesting fluoride, and I don't think most kids have 14 points to lose. Then another study said they weren't kids that weren't getting enough iodine lost 14 points. Combine those two things, that's 28 points from not having enough iodine and having too much fluoride. Boy, I know for a fact that most kids cannot afford to lose 28 IQ points. So, and then with what we're doing with social media and games and electronics and kids, we're putting them in a position not to have a chance. Um, so that takes care um, of that. Let's see, what else can we think of? So for dogs and pets, organic food, raw food if possible. Dry kibbles are going to need some other supplements. They're not getting nutrition in kibbles, and I don't mean a brand kibbles. I mean the dry foods. I mean they just cook the heck out of it, cook out all the chemicals. I mean all the nutrition. The other thing is when you've got dog food. I mean if it's made in China, I mean, they've had lots of recalls of foods that had toxins and arsenic in it that were killing pets. So, look for stuff made in the United States, but even in the food plants, they're cooking out all the nutrition. So you want to make sure you get some nutrition for your pets. We gave them pink salt added with some olive oil here and there, and then we do supplements. I'll do a video later on what supplements we give our pets. Our belief is, they used to say, "Oh, don't give your pet table salt scraps." Well, why not? If dogs used to live 20 years, now they live 10. Why? We don't feed them table scraps. Why? Because the table scraps contain poisons, and glyphosate, and chemicals that's killing the dogs. So, if you won't feed it to your dog, why are you feeding it to your kid? Um, so, let's see, what else have we got? Let's see. We talked about fragrances. We talked about uh, salt. We talked about let's do no sugars, no high fructose corn syrup. Come on, and get make get catch up with at least cane sugar, organic. But what's better is to head towards no sugar at all, and then get the monk fruit or Splenda type sweeteners, substitutes, and get off the sugar. That's why this country's obese, and this is why we've got such health problems because we teach our bodies to be hungry. The carbs are not giving you nutrition. Your body's starving for nutrition. So after you eat, it keeps making you want to eat more and more. Um, so get off the sugars. Let's see, what else can we say? Don't buy plants that have been sprayed with toxins. I think it was Lowe's or Home Depot. They had a big push. I think of some activists saying, "Quit carrying the plants, flowers and plants that have been sprayed with toxins." I don't know what happened with that. Um, And then subscribe to your EWG, which is the Environmental Working Group. Subscribe to their email list and get their Clean 15 and their Dirty Dozen list. And every year they measure the toxins reported to the government and the public data for toxins that are in certain or in produce items. And when they rank the produce items for the dirtiest dozen and the cleanest 15. And so, like, I think on the last list, avocados were on the clean 15. That means if you're buying non-organic avocados, they have some of the least amounts of chemicals in them of all produce items. So if you're going to not buy 100% organic and your budget's tight, then you buy the ones that are on the clean 15 non-organic and get the, if you're going to get the ones that are on the dirty dozen, make sure you're getting organic. I mean, for example, apples, strawberries, mushrooms. I'm not sure about mushrooms, but it makes sense because the skin's going to absorb. Raspberries, blueberries, apples, strawberries. You got to get organic. I think, but I'm not sure about bananas. I think oranges and avocados are on the clean 15. Honestly, I don't pay as much attention to the clean 15 because I'm trying to buy organic for my family. So I'm not paying attention to what's okay, better to eat if it's not organic. I'm paying more attention to the ones to stay, dang sure stay away from. There you go. Let's see. What else have I got? We talked about, your bed linens. If you can get clothes, t-shirts, blue jeans that are organic, but t-shirts and underwear, that's another one. Food, you want to do no sugar and you want to do no high fructose corn syrup. But if you're doing sugar, do organic. Do cane sugar. Don't do the high fructose corn syrup at all. And now they're trying to call it different names to fool people. When you gotta rename stuff to keep people from avoiding it because people have heard it's bad and then they don't want it. So then the food companies start changing how they label it. And then why is the FDA allowed to be called different names? Why don't they require it to be called one thing like high fructose corn syrup? That's it. Don't call it anything else. Because if that's what it is, that's what it is. Quit trying to confuse people. Confusion, if someone's trying to confuse you, then why would you trust them? So that's our belief. Let's see what else. Um, so obviously carbonated drinks, even club soda. Uh, Dr. Wallach says that's not good for you. That could cause cancer. One good thing on the supplement side. Start looking into what supplements. Get your 90 essential vitamins and minerals. That's what Dr. Wallach pushes. And then selenium is very also iodine. We talked about that. Make sure you're getting that. Oh, let's talk about juices. Don't get the ones that have added sugar. And then if you're going to buy a juice, get the fresh squeezed orange juice that's not pasteurized. And now they have this technique called cold press for some of the greens, like suja greens. They have um, cold pressed. Uh, there's a greens company out of Austin that sells like 16-ounce drinks that are green, fresh squeezed drinks that are healthy for you. It's cold pressed, so it doesn't kill the nutrients. Same thing for the orange juices. So either fresh squeezed or cold pressed. I think Sprouts is a grocery chain out of Phoenix. They're in Austin. That's where I'm out of. And they have a cold press one. Whole Foods, of course. Um, let's see what else. Let's see. So what happens with the juices when they pasteurize it or they pasteurize milk? But let's say pasteurize the juices, they're just killing the nutrition. They're boiling it basically, or it's high temp. It's killing the bacteria, but it's killing the good stuff too. So that's what pasteurization's doing. And they made it illegal to sell raw milk in most of the states. So or if you sell it, you can't sell it in the store. You can't. You got to sell it from your farm. I mean, you can't deliver it. I mean, so they make it out like it's going to kill a bunch of people, but yet, um, look at what they're doing to the milk, putting sugar in it, and uh, so so we don't drink regular milk. If we do, it's whole milk. I mean, I'm sorry, it's organic milk. And then the other thing we've converted to a couple of years ago is almond milk. So there's other kinds of milks but our kids will drink almond milk when they do eat cereal, and we try to stick to organic cereal, even though that has a lot of sugar added too, and it's not necessarily healthy. but it's a lot healthier. At least it's not killing you with toxins. It's just not healthy for your body with what because it has sugar in it, but and high carbs. So first you got to avoid the toxins, and next you got to start eating what's healthy for you. So two different things. Um, let's see what else. Well, what else here? Uh, we covered food colorings. We covered processed meats, and we covered dairies. Do grass fed. Grass fed. One benefit is it's got vitamin K, K1, and K2. A lot of people don't know K2. There's a doctor. I think his name was Price, but I'm not positive. Out of Ohio, who did a studies, and he showed that cod liver oil and grass fed butters and dairy help prevent cavities and even could help cure cavities. And I didn't need to find that study and do a video on it because I saw it on another video, and that's amazing. But we push fluoride instead of pushing, what can help us. And what happens is our gut doesn't convert our vitamin K1 into the K2 we need, so we have to get it from supplements or from diet, and kale and some broccoli has some vitamin K, but then the grass-fed animal products have vitamin K2, and that can help you. And it's also good for your helping your calcium go to where it needs to in your body instead of your joints or your heart. It goes to where it needs to in your bones. So that's what vitamin K is, a cofactor with vitamin D3 and with calcium, and all that, and magnesium is good for your heart. I've been doing a lot of research on that because of it supports your heart, and it supports your body to do what it needs to do. I've been doing a lot of research just for myself, but I had that calcium score, and that made me feel a lot better. I knew at least where I stood as far as my score. It was pretty good. It wasn't zero, but it was pretty good. Well, I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't elated, but I was happily not happy that I didn't have something big to worry about. And I'm not going to talk about my score here, but it was not bad. It's cold here. It's low 40s, sitting outside, and it feels like 30s. Um, might be a good night for one of the last fires. We've already started baseball in Texas for for youth leagues, and it's not little league, but youth leagues. But today's practice was canceled. The fields were closed, and tomorrow's going to be down to 27, I think. So baseball's out for the first part of this week, and then we're doing flag football as well. Even though that's a cold weather sport, we had our first practice game Sunday, and it went pretty well. Got some good kids. A couple of the kids from the baseball team are also on the flag team, so it makes it fun when the kids can get to know each other and have fun together. So. And then in baseball, we had a great comeback win. I have two sons, 10 and 12, and they're both on the team, and I'm the coach manager. So we were down 8-0, came back and tried to tie it, and then it was 9-8 their way. And then last inning, we let a few score. It was 12-8, down by 4. We have a 5-run limit per game. I'm sorry, per inning, and time was up, but we were home, so we batted last. And we came back and scored 5 and won at 13-8 in dramatic fashion. It's very fun, and our kids hardly got any walks. So what was good was we were getting hits to earn our runs, and through hits and steals, and it wasn't from just walks from pitchers putting our guys on bases from just walk after walk. So, but so let's talk about what else. So shampoos, you want to make sure you're not doing chemicals, conditioners. We talked about deodorants. Come on, ladies, if you're doing makeup, come on, do mineral, organic based or mineral based, but don't do chemical laden personal care products, please. Um, and let's see. Uh, so that's personal care, deodorants, shampoos, conditioners. Same for your dogs. We don't believe in sunblocks because of the chemicals in it, but there are some natural ones now with a push on organic. I did a video the other day at Costco. I walked through and filmed every organic item, and you will not believe. I thought maybe I'd have 30 or 40. We buy tons of stuff there. I just didn't realize. Should have realized there's like five. There's ground beef and 4 or 5 chicken products and ground turkey. So that's 6 or 8 right there, and then some cheeses. But before we were done, I got halfway through, my battery died, and I had 70 items. Then I had to go back with another battery the next day and finished. And I've got to go back and finish counting. I think I'm guessing we had at least 130 to 50 items total, organic, certified organic. One was dog food, which is the dry stuff, but it's grain free. I forgot to mention for dogs, do grain free. Their dogs aren't meant to eat grains, so um, grain free. If I was going to do one grain, I'd probably do brown rice, but we do grain free, and we do organic, and so organic, grain free, and then we add supplements that give them the vitamins and nutrients, and then we add some pink salt to the food here and there, and maybe some olive oils or for the fat. Although the supplements we give them have the essential, have some fatty acids also. But so let's see. What else do we have to make sure we mention? We want to make sure we get everything covered as a topic, and then my plan is to come back and just do an individual video on each of these topics, and maybe start doing a vlog and bring in a guest for each of these topics, an expert, a doctor, a nutritionist, expert, whatever it is. Um, some things I've read about to help you with anti-aging or longevity, or I've watched videos on, is make sure you're getting the right amount of sleep. You want your breathing to be right. I'm not an expert on sleep apnea. I understand that's a factor about longevity and aging. Um, so you want to get sleep. You don't want the blue light from a phone or computer or TV within an hour when you go to sleep. And they sell these blue light blockers, so they're like sunglasses, but for at night to block out the light that's bad for your body, in your eyes and your brain. So that's one thing you can do for anti-aging and longevity. Uh, Taking cold showers, I've read, is really good for you. I have to admit, I'm a chicken. I get in there and I try and I'll start, and after about 5 seconds, I'm like, oh, I'll have to do it next time. Next time I'll do the cold shower. But so uh, cold showers. Although be careful about going from hot environments to cold. I went to the hot spa the other day. And I There's a study from Finland, I think it is. I've read Finland has per capita more hot spas than they have garages. So maybe they just don't have many garages, but you would think with all the snow and ice they would have garages, but they have everybody, most people have a hot spa in their house. So, but they did a study, I think it was over 20 years, and started when people were in their 60s, and the people who went 4 to 5 times a week to the hot spa lived 32% longer or something like that, and had 32% less chronic diseases, cancer and heart risk, etc. I'll have to find the study and give you the exact stats, but something like that. I mean, I'm just quoting, I'm paraphrasing there based upon, I saw a couple of interviews on YouTube about it. So that's something you do for anti-aging. If you smoke, quit smoking. Um, That's at 28. I'm going to cut that out. 28 minutes. If you smoke, quit smoking. Alcohol in excess, although the resveratrol in red wine, some people think that helps to increase your life or decrease heart risk. Uh, Polyphenols in fruit, blueberries, things like that, I think it's good for your heart risk. So that's good. I'll tell you about some good things now. Another other anti-aging factors. Get rid of the toxins. Eat organic. I also saw someone saying that you could get rid of 85% or so of the toxins in your body in 21 days, because what happened, this researcher did, he found that uh, um, that percentage of the toxins had a half life of 21 days. So they naturally dissolve or go away after 21 days. So if you go organic and do all these things I'm talking about and get rid of after 21 days of not intaking any more of those toxins, then those are going to be gone. And what's left are the ones that have the longer half lives, like heavy metals, lead, poisons and toxins and chemicals and things like that. So if you get rid of the toxins in 21 days. Now you're down 85%, and now you focus on, find a naturopath that knows how to detox your body. I find stuff over the counter, the things I've researched that can help detox, and obviously you want to see your healthcare professional. I'm not a medical doctor, but um, charcoal, zeolite, midnight clay, diatomaceous earth helps get rid of parasites. Other natural things like some greens help get rid of toxins, but uh, iodine, nascent iodine helps get rid of flush out toxins. So there's things you can ingest that are or non that are minerals that help. They basically bind to the toxins. Silica, I think also. Um, so that's something else that's good for you. MSM. Um, so let's see, what else can I tell you about that's good for you or not, or to stay away from. We talked about oils to cook in. Oh, if you're gonna eat peanut butter, the Valencia peanut butter I've read is the healthiest one. And I'm not sure if it's healthier for you or if it's better for you because it's sprayed less with chemicals. But peanuts are heavily sprayed, and you don't think, well, peanuts are under the ground. They're actually in a shell as part of the root system. How's that going to get the poisons? Well, the poisons get sprayed on the plant and on the dirt, and then rainwater washes it into the dirt, and it gets absorbed into the root. So peanuts are heavily sprayed. Another thing that's heavily sprayed is wheat, because you might get, the little symbol, and we were big into organic, but the non-GMO is the second best, or if you can't get organic, then you get the non-GMO because it's not going to be sprayed because GMOs are sprayed more. But wheat, we found, I've seen, is sprayed before they, unless it's organic, it's sprayed with poisons to dry it out prior to harvesting. So it might be non-GMO, but if it's sprayed with a ton of poisons, that's not good for you. So um, so let's see. What else? Peanuts. I told you about wheat. And it seems like there's one more thing to say. If you're going to get it, make sure you get organic. And so one of them was wheat, which means bread or anything. Wheat's in tons of stuff. So basically, you need to be eating organic everything. But peanuts, and I also read there's a chemical in the shells of the little fine shell, not the shell, but in the outer husk part of the almond. So that's why you want to get blanched on the almonds. But what was the other item? It was peanut butter to always get organic. And oh, coffee. Oh, I'm a big coffee drinker. So if you're going to drink coffee, get organic because it's a heavily sprayed product. So heavily sprayed. When someone uses the term heavily sprayed, that means they spray the heck out of it. So you definitely want to be using organic coffee, organic peanut butter. Valencia peanuts, I think, are either sprayed less or they're no more nutritious. Um, Maybe that variety gets sprayed less, or either it's more nutritious. Can't remember which. I think it's the less spraying, but the Valencia peanuts, peanut butter made with Valencia peanuts. But back to, let me tell you about Costco. I mean, I'm just going to ramble through and mention some of the items we found. They had two jelly preserves or that were organic. So all these items I mentioned are certified organic. That means they have the green, white, and brown circle, white and green USDA certified organic logo. And so we had two jellies. You had a 2 pack of peanut butter. You had a couple of Annie's items that were like, one was like the little Cheez Its and one was a mac and cheese mixes. They had the dog food. They had green tea. They had some nuts, some really good, if you're going to get breads, some sprouted and ancient grains breads. I can't remember the brand. I think one was a Kirkland brand. Kirkland is the brand name of Costco. Um, and then they had some other regular brands that we bought before. uh, my wife gets for kids sandwiches. And let's see, they have two or three apples. They had tons of produce, two different mushrooms. They had strawberries, raspberries, lots of greens, romaine lettuce, greens mixes, carrots, bulk carrots, peeled carrots. They had 3 or 4 kombuchas, organic. All these are organic items. They had the acai berry, some carrot juice. What else? Produce wise, I think they had salsa in the refrigerated and in the dry sections. They had some guacamole mixes. This is feta cheese, some Colby Jack cheese. They had chicken party wings. They had chicken thigh meat, chicken tenders, chicken breast, whole chickens, ground turkey meat, ground beef. Um, Now, none of this is necessarily humanely raised. I don't know about how they raise it. If they don't state humanely raised or brag about it, then generally it's a cattle. It's a farm. It's the packed to the gills farm system, but at least it's organic. But it could have been humanely raised. I don't know. They didn't attest to either way. Let's see what else. Oh, they have tons of frozen fruit, and I like frozen fruit because and produce, vegetables, because they generally ripen it until it's ready to be, until it's ripe, ripen it until it's ripe, and then they harvest it and flash freeze it, which means it's being frozen at the peak of nutrition, not like fresh produce that you buy. They truck it in, and it's got to come from where it's raised, unless it's raised locally, which means they truck it in, and it's not ripe. It's ripening on the truck and sitting in the store and in the distribution system. So it's more nutritious, in my belief, if it's frozen than fresh. That might not be the case for everything at 100%, but I've read that, and it makes sense to me. So that's my opinion. They had fresh, lots of mixed vegetables, some corn, peas, beans. Oh, on the fresh side, they had Brussels sprouts. They had frozen Brussels sprouts. They had fresh Brussels sprouts. They had French cut green beans, whole green beans, cut green beans. Whole ones were frozen. The cut ones and the French ones were fresh and refrigerated. They had squash, which is the zucchini squash and the yellow squash mixed. Let's see what else. Back to the frozen, they had chicken tenders. You know what I'm thinking about? I don't remember seeing chicken tenders, but I know they have them usually. They have organic 18 pack organic eggs. They're not pasture raised, but they're organic. They're cage free, but cage free just means they're not in a little box of a cage. And most chickens are not in a cage. They can at least get out of the cage and walk around in the house, even though the house, if you ever see one, I've seen tons of them. Um, I've been inside tons of them. Um, they have chickens, back to back. You can't see the ground for the chickens. So um, that's not a very, it's not a fun. They're out in the fields eating worms and crickets. That's for sure. Unless they're farm raised or grass raised. So let's see what else. They Costco had they had some cold brewed coffee. They had Rudemeyer coffee with in organic, and they had their own brand organic. They had their they have butter, salted and unsalted. They have their almond milk, whole milk. Uh, they had kiwi on the fresh produce side, and they had some processed chicken and processed stuffed chicken. They had some other prepared pasta, ravioli, some things like that. All this is certified organic. On the dry side, they had Cascadia, I think the brand is. It's out of Washington State, the Cascade Mountains. Cereals. They had some ancient grain cereals, some pumpkin seed mix. They have some what do you call it? Dry meat. Beef jerky. I think they had a turkey jerky, but they definitely had a beef jerky. They had walnuts, almonds, cashews, a bunch of different power bars and protein bars, the Cliff bars, raisins, potato chips, tortillas. I'm not sure about potato chips. Tortilla chips. They had some sweet potato chips. They had some protein mix, a couple of different protein powders, some superfood powders, some superfood mix on the berry side, some blueberries, frozen um, strawberries, and let's see what else. Oh, they had a ton of stuff. I took video. I'm going to count it up and then break it up into different videos. Like I'm going to do one that all the protein, meat, dairy, and protein, which is a couple of cheeses, the eggs. I think they had boiled eggs that were already boiled, but they were organic. So I'm going to do break it into sections. I'm going to do the snacks, the dry products, the snacks, the produce. So frozen and fresh vegetables and fruit. I'm going to do proteins, dairy, and meat. And I'm going to do the dry goods, and then maybe snacks might be a good one. I don't know. I guess beverages might be good because they had the Honest brand juices. So they had some dry juices that we don't get anymore because we try to stay away from pasteurized or from if it's dry and it's not having to be refrigerated, then it's not as good for you in my opinion. Even though if it's organic, it's not as bad. But the whole thing with extending shelf life meant food companies could put chemicals in food, generally with chemicals, not always extend shelf lives. They could truck it in, have less plants, and truck it in from a further distance, and stuff would stay safe to eat on the shelf. Safe meaning it doesn't go bad and spoil. Doesn't mean it's safe. It will give you cancer over 20 years, but it does mean it's safe as far as it will not go bad. Um, so let's see what else. Just thinking through, I saw a multivitamin, some. I told you about the dog food. Those are the non-human food items. Even though the multivitamin is nutrition. Um, did not check on wine and beer, but I don't think they have anything organic there. I didn't see it. One thing I like about Costco is they have a green little placard sticker, and so instead of their little sticker over on the rack that says what it is, instead of it being white with black writing, it'll be green with black writing. And I don't know if it's the card that's green or if it just they've got these little plastic things that are green that make it look green. So that way you can just look from a distance and you can just look around and see um, and look for the green ones. I've only found a few before that were not certified organic that had the green. One time it was a natural chicken tender or chicken wings. And it said natural on it, no hormones, no antibiotics, but it did not say organic. So that was a mistake. And then the other day I found a couple that were certified organic with the little USDA certified organic stick logo, but they didn't have the green card because it was either new and they didn't have it yet, or Costco missed it as far as their people in the store. Um, so, and I looked at the TVs, the widescreen, big screen, 65-inch TVs, and I tried to figure out a way to get a sticker on one so my wife would think it was organic when I brought it home, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. So I didn't get one. I don't think she would have bought it. So let's see what else was organic. Seems like, oh, let me go back and think. Okay, I told you about they had some tortilla chips and they had dry salsa. I didn't see mustard. I did see apple cider vinegar. Not apple cider vinegar. Yeah, it was apple cider vinegar. Not the Bragg's, but their own brand or something. And then they had green tea. And then they have pasta. And they're not BPA free cans. I wish they'd go to that because BPA is another thing to stay away from. It's on my list. So don't buy food that's in plastic and bottles that are BPA have BPA because those are affect your hormones. So maybe that's how I got my. That's how you get fat. Sometimes you got the wrong hormones from the BPA. But let's see. They had the the pasta. They had tomato paste. They had tomato marinara, tomato sauce. So three, and then they had some refried beans that were certified organic, some black beans. Generally, they have two or three. Sometimes in glass jars, they'll have some marinara that's certified organic. Last time I was there, I saw two. I don't remember seeing one this week when I was filming. Um, they had there's just so many items. It's hard to remember. I remember a jar of certified organic mango and some juice in a big jar. They I have gotten avocado mayonnaise there last time. I didn't see it this time. Um, they had the protein mixes and super blend mixes that were dry powders, but then they also had that on the refrigerator or frozen. Two different sizes of coconut water. That was certified organic. Um, and let's see, like I said, different prepared entrees, prepared foods, some chicken, some stuffed chickens, some raviolis. Let's see what else. Let me think. I told you about peanut butter. They had some other powder nut mix that was just a combination of all kinds of nuts. Looked like a nice nut butter. It was like $14 for one jar, like 16 ounces. So it's pretty expensive, but it should be really healthy for you. It had sunflower seeds oil and all kinds of oils and but nut oil. So um, that was one. I think they had seaweed, dried seaweed snacks. Um, we got some sweet potato chips the last time I was there. I think they still had those. Um, Lots of cereals. We talked about, my wife and son, one of my sons like these breakfast burritos breakfast burritos that are about 6 inches long and they've got refried beans and uh, eggs or something in them, but they heat them up. They're frozen, and so you just take out two and put them in the fridge, and the next morning heat them in the oven or toaster, and those are good. They got a lot of carbs, but they're organic, and if you like, if you want some carbs in the morning, or if you're okay with eating carbs, but they're certified organic, so they're really good. I think I tasted one once. But again, I'm on keto, so I'm staying away from all the extra carbs. But okay, I think this is going to wrap it up. Be looking out for more videos. I'm going to break down all these topics, start bringing on guests, and do everything I can to educate people on, save them some time. I've spent 13 years researching water and food and health, and these are some of my conclusions. And now let me go bring you all the research and all the experts and let you see for yourself, save you 13 years of research, pack it into 6 months and see see if save you guys some time. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Thanks for watching.